Hi, I'm here with my good friend Albert Geigel from Tata Services. And Albert, and I have heard few of our clients on dental clinics, they're talking about payroll tax. Albert, yeah, please tell a little bit more about the payroll tax.
Okay, so exactly what payroll tax is it's a tax that's levied by the Victorian government on employers where their payroll is over $700,000. So in 2024, that's at a rate of 4.85%. So for every dollar in payroll over $700,000, you've got to give an additional tax to the State Revenue Office at 4.85%. Now, this will go up to a $900,000 amount from next year onwards. So it gives a little bit more relief. But if you have a surgery that has around about $1.2 million in gross patient fees, you're probably spending around about $250,000 in wages and superannuation. And if you're paying 40% after labs on the 1.2 million, there's probably about another $450,000 that's going out the door. So you're really close to that threshold if the contractor's commission has to be included, which is what everybody's talking about now with the payroll tax. In 2025, we probably get to about the $1.5 million mark. So your payroll tax is on your wages, on your super, and on any contractors that you pay 40% to that work for you for more than 90 days. And as most surgeries pay dentists as contractors and not as employees, um, they need to be 100% sure that the employees are not considered to be a deemed employee. And then we also have all those super and workers' compensation insurance and leave entitlement issues there. So the idea is, or where a lot of the surgeries have moved, and this has been over the last 20
Mhm.
years, is that they do not pay them 40%.
Right.
Okay. They just pay them 100% and have the contracting dentist pay them a 60%
Mm.
service fee under a service and facility agreement.
Okay, that's very interesting. And but what about the SFA and how does it work, Albert?
Okay. So the SFA is really an arrangement whereby the surgery is saying, we're not employing you. We're not engaging you as a contractor. You are engaging us to provide you with all the services that you need to be able to treat patients. So we're providing the dental nurse, we're providing a receptionist, providing all the dental materials. We're making sure that we organize that you've got lab fees and a lab to go to. Okay. We're doing the marketing. We're bringing the patients in for you to see. We're booking them in. We're doing all of those things. And for doing that, we want 60%. So the end result is the dentist still ends up with the same money.
Mm.
Previously, they got 40%. Now they get 100% and then pay 60% through to the surgery. So the result's the same, but the way the transaction is treated is
Mhm.
different. So the surgery's not paying you, so you're not considered to be an employee. You're not considered to be a contractor. The contractor is paying me, the surgery, for the services that I'm provided. And that's why we've got a service and facility agreement. And that makes sure that we get away from them being considered to be an employee and all those nasty bits with super, and them being considered to be a contractor and getting caught up with all the payroll tax issues.
Yeah, thank you, Albert. That's pretty clear. So, if just a quick question here. So, if the SFA changes, would that mean the relationship between the surgery and the dentist? So I'm also hearing that why are so many contracting dentists then being asked, to set up the company or the different entity?
Okay. Well, a lot of times this is really now trying to make sure that we comply as fully and completely as we can with both federal tax, income tax type laws, and as well as state revenue payroll tax type laws, because we don't want to be crossing any of those. And also, from the contracting dentist point of view, what would it look like in the real world if they were trading as a dentist? They'd be going, well, do you want to be exposed to liability and, being sued and everything else? And nobody does, and everybody's got their professional indemnity insurance. But if I'm there working at a couple of surgeries, surely it makes sense for me to put my hand up and go, I think it would be better if I was a company and had a little bit of legal protection and not just sit out there as a sole trader.
Mhm.
So a lot of the movement now, and a lot of it's been started by the corporates, is to go forward and say, look, we would prefer that we engaged with you as a company. And this also gives you an opportunity, as you may have seen, for setting up your own brand and getting a website and looking like you're a bit more independent.
Yeah, that's a that's a good point there, and no wonder I've been noticing these days, a lot of inquiries actually coming for the personal brand or sort of the branding websites. Yes, there is a practice, but more dentists or contractors, they're going more on their own listing, Google listing plus personal brand. Is that because of the payroll tax changes,
Yeah, well,
Albert?
look, some of it is, and some of it's pushed it that way. But technically, there hasn't actually been a change in the payroll tax laws. There's been no change. What the individual state governments have done is that they've come out and said, look, we would just like to clear up this confusion and let you know what we think. And we think you're all contractors, because that's obviously what they would like to be saying. And they say, just to make it perfectly clear, we're going to put out this ruling to try and clarify things
Mm.
and say that if you're doing this, and this, you're okay. But if you're doing this, or this, then you are really a contractor, and we really need to be picking up payroll tax on these certain contractors. Queensland was the first one to come out to do the clarification, which was back in December of 2022, so nearly 18 months ago. The other states,
Right.
zip, not a word, nothing. They all sat back and went, let's just see what happens in Queensland,
Mm.
and then we'll develop a better ruling. So that's exactly what happened in August of 2023, so a bit more than 6 months ago. New South Wales and Victoria, and I'm not saying that they were colluding, but their rulings came out on the same day, almost identical. The only difference is that on the Queensland side, they've issued an amended ruling. They've gone through and provided an amnesty period.
Mhm.
And New South Wales have said to some extent they won't go back and look at previous transactions, but like get your affairs in order and get things sorted out now. Victorian government have gone, no, if we catch you and you have been doing the wrong thing in the past, you haven't got your SFAs lined up properly, you're not paying into separate bank accounts and
Mm.
doing all the things that you need to do, we can go back 5 years. And that's the position that it is at the moment. And now that position for Victorians is really dangerous, because to go back over 5 years, some of those practices will be looking at hundreds of thousands of dollars in payroll tax that they may need to pay. And if you get a knock on the door, you cannot change your historical transactions. The way you've done your historical transactions are there for everybody to see. And I can guarantee you now they will not comply with the way Victorian government, in their opinion, deals with contractors. So you've just got to be really careful. In a nutshell, the main crux of the matter is you need to have the money going directly from the patient through to the contracting dentist
Mhm.
into their bank account. and then 60% going back to the surgery. It means you'll need to change your service and facility agreements. It means that you'll need to be looking at things as simple as the surgery's website.
Mm.
Does the website give an indication of you being an employee or a contractor? You know, those Butte ones that go, meet the team.
Yes.
Meet the team indicates, oh, here's Sally, our employee receptionist. Here's June, our OHT. Here's Bob, our dentist.
Mm.
He's not an employee, but is a contractor, but gives the impression that he's under the control and that he would certainly be a contractor caught by the payroll things. So this is why there has been a little bit more of that thrust towards the individual contractors. Please, can you become a company? Because it makes you look more independent. Please, could you have your own website and everything else?
That's really concerning, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I
Look,
understand why
it
it is,
really is.
hot topic among the dentist and other health practitioners. So, is this something that you will be covering up in our, upcoming seminar in Melbourne?
Gee, I'm glad you asked that. Look, at the seminar that we're doing on the 15th of May, I will answer all of your questions on payroll tax and service and facility agreements in much more detail than I've just done in the last 5 minutes, so that you will have a crystal clear picture of how it affects you and what you need to do to comply. But it's not all bad news, okay? So settle down. After we've got through that hurdle, I will also run through the federal budget changes, and I'll provide you with some tax strategies that you might want to implement before the 30th of June and save yourself a few dollars. And Prabin, I know that you'll also be speaking about solving dentists' number one problem, which is how to get more patients that you want into the surgery so that you can grow your practice.
Yeah, thank you, Albert. Yeah, that's very true. In our upcoming event. So if you're watching this, pretty much, we can send all the details to you as well. 15th of May, we are doing up in the evening, so it's in person, not via Zoom or any recording. So it's in person. And so what I will be covering up are pretty much, time is tough. There is no doubt, as Albert mentioned, so many rules, regulations coming up. So what I will be covering up is the things which you don't need in marketing. Yeah, when you go to all these marketing providers, they say, oh, you got to need these 20 things, but obviously time is tough, then you got to put the money where the mouth is. So I'll be covering up what do you exactly need on your different growth stages. So I'll be cover that, plus also obviously about the threats and opportunities for your clinic's brand image. And that's, we briefly touched about the brand image, why brand is important to position that. And obviously there is always uh, the time, different time like this. Obviously, we talk about the best ways of activating the patients or new patients. Pretty much is a 3 R's: retention, referrals, and reactivation. So how do you maximize the 3 R's and getting the appointment books filled in? So that's what I will be covering up. But besides that, is there any other things, Albert, you wanna add in?
No, I think that's it. I believe anybody that's watching this the clip will realize this is one of those really important things. It's something, in my opinion, very timely, very now. You really can't miss out on being informed about this topic, because it's going to affect every practice owner, even those that are smaller that may not be at the threshold. They will be at the threshold in the future, and they should plan so that they're complying now, so it just flows through into what they're doing in their practice. And I know a lot of the owners out there are very concerned about the admin in getting money out to different bank accounts and how does that work with high caps and everything else. But the good news is there are certainly financial institutions out there that are working on a solution that will be compliant, and it will most likely be out literally within the next few weeks. So you can most certainly start off the new financial year compliant with all your payroll tax areas. Anyway, That's it
Thank you,
from me.
Albert. Thank you so much. I hope that's been value. So look forward to seeing you all on 15th of May on Wednesday. Um, Thanks again. Bye for now.
Okay.